Welcome back to the Holy Huddle with Drew and Ethan.
What's up?
And today it's going to be a little fun, a little bit of preseason rankings on the good old tier list right here. We're going to start with the SEC conference.
Let's do it.
So you opted that we start with Vandy.
Yeah.
What do you got on Vandy this year?
Honestly, I think Vanderbilt can do pretty good this year. Considering they have Diego Pavia coming back, I think he's gonna have a pretty good season. You know, he's around 6 foot, 207 pounds. Last year Vanderbilt, they upset Alabama last year at home, which was a milestone victory that I don't think anybody thought they were gonna get.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Vanderbilt. And looking at their schedule, they have Charleston Southern. They go to Virginia Tech. They go to South Carolina. They play Georgia State, then Utah State. Then they go on the road to Alabama. They play LSU. Then LSU and Missouri are at home. And then they go to Texas. They have Auburn at home. And then Kentucky at home. And then at Mississippi. I think Vanderbilt, honestly, I would put them in the mid portion of this thing.
So, yeah, I think they finish around mid-table just because the top half of the SEC is already so talented.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised if they finished in the top 5 just because they're returning about 78% of their returning production.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Diego Pavia, a top tight end in the country, Eli Stowers, I would not be surprised if they, shock some folks. So we'll put them in the mid-tier for now.
Was definitely a breakthrough year for Clark Lee. I think they have a chance at maybe going 7-5 on the year, and maybe going 8-5.
A one-win
improvement. Yeah, that's all you can ask for sometimes, right? But no, I think Clark Lee has a really good program, and I think he's got a very confident quarterback, and I think Diego thinks that he can take Vanderbilt to new heights.
I think so too, and this JUCO rule is certainly interesting. I'm seeing all these other players get this eligibility, but then there's a Baylor player who played at JUCO and he's not getting his extra year right now, so very frustrating for him. Moving on, Texas. I have them as a playoff contender.
Yeah.
I don't think you should put them anywhere else. You got Arch Manning. You got 2 NFL caliber running backs with Trey Wisner and C.J. Baxter. The talent you're returning is just phenomenal.
Yeah, and don't forget they're returning Ryan Wingo, who's only a true freshman last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Arch Manning. Texas's offensive line is going to be stout. Defensively, you couldn't ask for more. You have Anthony Hill returning. You have Michael Taft in the backfield. They lost Jahdae Barron. Is Makuba still with them?
I would not know.
Okay. But yeah, they lost some key pieces, but
Colin Simmons.
Yes, Colin Simmons was an absolute monster last year. I think he's gonna take a next step in year 2. So that's Texas defensive line. I think it's going to be really good. And then you got Arch Manning, who I think is going to be pretty good. I've heard people are saying, "Well, people are putting too much hype on Arch Manning just because he played. He's played some games, but were they really against good competition?" And I still think he's going to be a top 5 quarterback in the SEC. My opinion is, I think that at some point in the year, I think there's going to be some adversity that maybe he hits down the road. But that's every player.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I think that Arch seems like a really just composed guy, and I think he's going to get some really good wins down the road. And I think Texas is going to be potentially playing for the SEC championship. Potentially. I still think there's some teams that might. Texas is going to have a huge target on their back. They got to understand that. And when they're in the SEC, and they got a dose of it last year. But when you're a good team in the SEC, every single week teams are going to give you their best shot. And they're going to have some games where they have to go on the road and they're going to have to give their best shot because the other team's going to give their best shot.
Yep, totally agree. And speaking more on Arch Manning, I think he runs 4.5 speed. He has, a literal sniper attached to his right shoulder. He's a generational talent. From what I've seen, honestly, there's nothing stopping me from saying he's not a generational talent.
Yeah.
Now, will the SEC prove how good he really is? Yeah, it'll show. Only time will tell if my take was right. But
well, I mean,
this team's going to run through Arch Manning this next season.
Well, I mean, Texas has. I mean, their first game is against Ohio State, so that's going to be definitely a big early test to see.
That's going to be a big noon Saturday game. Like, why can't you have one of the best games of the year at night? Like, that's just stupid. No one wants a big game noon on Fox for one of the biggest games of the season.
It is what it is,
But obviously, I'm going to put Texas in playoff contender.
Yep, I got Texas in the play. I think Texas is going to make the playoff. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah, for sure. And now we're on to Texas A&M. Your Aggies. What do you know?
Right.
What do you know about the inside of Texas A&M that none of us don't know?
Well, if I was correct, I believe so. Offensively, A&M is returning like 70% of their offense from last year. Defensively, they lost some key pieces like Nick Scorton, Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner, maybe some guys on the back end. But I think here's the main thing for A&M, and I would put them as a conference contender, not necessarily playoff contender, but I would say conference contender, and this is why. Because for A&M, the main struggle bus for them over the past couple of years is keeping their quarterback healthy. A&M has had a very hard time with that. The last year, Marcel Reed, took the reins of the offense and got them within a game of playing for the dang SEC championship. They didn't get there, but they were one game short from that. And I think the offense is going to be more explosive. I mean, when you look at their backfield, you got Le'Veon Moss, you have Marcel Reed, you have Kevin Concepcion, you have a guy I can't remember his name from Mississippi State, a transfer, and then you got Terry Bussey, who was a top recruit coming out of high school, who I think had a really good season. And then on defense, I think they loaded back up on the defensive line. Cassius Howell should be a name that you should watch for this coming year. You got probably one of the most experienced and maybe if not the best linebacker in the country in Torian York. Scooby Williams, you have Bryce Anderson at safety, and then you got Will Lee at the cornerback position, which I think should have a big year.
Well, that was a lot. I didn't know that much about A&M.
Well, you asked me for all my inside scoop, and I gave it to you in less than 2 minutes.
Well, I think, with the returning, I think their A&M's defense is going to be really solid this year with all the returning.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the inside linebackers are going to be phenomenal with Scooby Williams and Torian York. Seeing them two play pretty well.
Yeah. And the offensive line, I think they're returning like 4 or 5 starters from last year. So I think they should be pretty good in that area of the team.
I'm pretty sure Will Lee had a really good year last year too.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they call him the blanket.
Oh, that's who that was. I saw something on social media about that he brought a player. He brought the opposing receiver a blanket.
It was what you're talking about. That was the Missouri game last year.
So he brought him a blanket that he is going to lock him down. Was it Luther Burden?
It was either Luther Burton or it was some other big receiver they had last year. But yeah,
I mean, I just think I think they're definitely a conference contender for sure.
Yeah.
Now, they will for sure, I think, finish top 5, but
Yeah, for sure.
I think putting them in conference contenders is a safe pick for now.
Yeah, the only reason why I wouldn't say playoff contender is because it's year 2 under Mike Elko, and there's still a culture shift, honestly. And they have some. I'll read you the schedule for them. Let me pull that up here in just a second, because I would argue they probably have one of the most difficult road schedules in the SEC. And we've kind of gone over this, but I'll go over it again. So they start off with UTSA at home. They have Utah State, and then they have a huge showdown against Notre Dame at Notre Dame, and then they have Auburn at home, Mississippi State at home, Florida at home, Arkansas in Fayetteville, LSU at Tiger Stadium. They have Missouri at Missouri, South Carolina at home, Samford at home, and then they finish off the year with Texas. So, I would say their road schedule is probably one of the most difficult, I would say, in the conference. Not that they can't win them, but I think there's definitely gonna be, a lot more. Hey, we really need to hone in on some stuff.
Yep, I totally agree.
But and again for Texas as well, I mean their schedule, they have to go on the road to Florida, and I believe Florida is going to be way more improved than they were last year with DJ Lagway. So,
Which, now we're moving on to our next team, the Tennessee Volunteers. And there's been a lot of questions about Tennessee at the quarterback position this year.
yeah,
they obviously got a transfer in Joey Aguilar, a top quarterback from App State, I want to say. I'm pretty sure that's App State. And then they have a redshirt freshman who is a former 5-star, Jake Merlinger, who's sitting back there. But I really don't know too much about this roster, if I'm being completely honest. This
yeah,
roster is kind of an unknown to me.
yeah. I'm not going to lie, I've kind of scratched my head around Tennessee because of all that happened during the offseason with Nico and all that. I honestly, I don't know. I would still, because I mean Tennessee they've had a good run for the last 3 or 4 years now under Josh Heupel. I mean I think I would put them as, I'm between top 5 finish and conference contender, just
Yeah,
because they've been pretty consistent over the past couple of years. It's not like they've been terrible.
they've got some transfer talent. I saw that they got one of Duke's starting running backs, Star Thomas,
Yeah,
who's a senior as well. So there's some production there.
yeah,
I'm honestly just looking around. I don't see a lot of familiar names because I'm guessing they're not returning a lot of production. If I'm having to be completely honest, because I don't see any familiar names here on this roster,
yeah.
or too many
Well,
familiar names.
I think a big loss for them last year was losing Dylan Sampson to the draft.
Yeah, they had Dylan Sampson for a while.
Yeah. Um, let's see. I felt like they lost some receivers last year. Do they still have Brew McCoy?
Well, I don't even think they do anymore.
I was about to say if he's gone, I don't, because they had Brew McCoy. I think they have Squirrel White still. I
Mm-mm,
think they don't.
I don't think so.
Well, if that could
Oh,
be.
they do have they have a McCoy on the roster.
They have a McCoy.
Yeah, it's a DB though.
Yeah,
It's a receiver.
yeah,
And I saw that there's some transfer talent on this roster, not a whole lot. I saw that they
yeah.
got a receiver from Bama,
Interesting.
whatever his name was, Armani Jefferson.
They have Chris Braswell, who's a big receiver for them. They still have him.
But yeah, if I had to be completely honest, I do not really notice any of the talent from last year.
Yeah.
So if I'm being completely honest, that they're a complete wild card to me. I don't know what they can do or what they will do.
Right.
So
Yeah.
honestly, I'm gonna, just with how consistent they've been in years past, I'm gonna put them in top 5 finish.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Okay, and then we have South Carolina. This one is an interesting one for me because they got yeah. Go ahead.
I think this is probably one of the most intriguing teams
In the SEC this year.
Yeah.
With Lenore Sellers, Nick Harbor, especially Lenore Sellers, who had a phenomenal freshman season last year.
Well, and he was 6-1 in their last 7 games last year, which is unbelievable. And he was only a true freshman last year.
He was a true freshman?
I believe so. Or he was a
He
redshirt
wasn't
freshman.
a redshirt.
I believe so. Lenore Sellers.
What fact check do you want? Fact.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a freshman.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a true freshman last year.
Okay, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
He might be. Yeah, he might be here for this year and next year.
Yeah, a while.
So yeah, 6'3", 240. He says he's a redshirt sophomore right here
He's a redshirt
on South Carolina's roster.
I'm looking on ESPN.
Oh,
but
it's
I mean, this is basically Cam Newton in a nutshell.
Yeah, budget Cam Newton, honestly. 6'3", 240.
6'3", 242.
Yeah, he's big.
He can break tackles. I've seen it.
He can go downhill in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
I really love South Carolina this year. They have a abundance of young talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're just going to be around for the next couple of years, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Dylan Stewart's a solid edge rusher. He just got paid the bag to stay there.
He did.
Yeah. He got paid a lot of money
He got paid a chunk of money
to stay there in North Carolina, South Carolina. Man, and even we got guys. I don't even know who the receivers were last year. To be honest, who was even Lenore Sellers throwing to? Jaden Sellers. He has a brother.
Is he a receiver?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that should be a good combo.
If he even plays,
brother to brother.
I know that'd be funny, wouldn't it? That'd be funny.
Well, let me just read you the schedule they have for this year. So they have Virginia Tech. It's going to be in Atlanta. So what is it? Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they have South Carolina State at home. They have Vanderbilt at home. They go to Missouri. They have Kentucky at home. They go to LSU. They have Oklahoma at home. They have they have Alabama at home. Ole Miss away. They go to Texas A&M, obviously. They play Coastal Carolina at home, and they play Clemson at home. Ethan, honestly, for South Carolina, this could be a break. This could be a break season for them.
Oh yeah. The one issue I really have is that their receiving room is really young. That is a really young receiving room. The only guy I really know from that room is Nick Harbor. All these other guys, I think I've heard of Bennett Jr., Jared Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've heard of some of these guys, but to be fair, their leading receiver was a tight end last year.
Wow.
And so that sort of draws a lot of red flags for this air attack.
I'm looking at the receiver room right now. Yeah, you have a freshman, you have a sophomore, you have a freshman, junior, redshirt senior. Yeah. They're a little bit young but I think it's better than having all seniors or all juniors because you get to develop the guys throughout the year, and they're just going to get better.
Especially if Lenore Sellers sticks around another season.
Oh yeah.
Considering that he is eligible for the draft this year. And if I had to be completely honest, South Carolina almost made the playoff last year.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shock it. I think I'm gonna be a little bold here, and hopefully you agree with me with this. I'm gonna put them in playoff contender.
Really?
Yeah, because they finished at what 14 last year, 13.
Yeah, they were barely just out of it,
and they didn't even have that much production at the receiver position. I don't know. The running back position they had Raheem Sanders last year, who was pretty solid.
Yeah.
But I just think with that returning experience, the defense is pretty good. I think they can make a run at the playoffs.
Yeah. I would say for me, I would have them at conference contender just for me because, even though they got a little bit snubbed out of the playoffs a little bit last year. I still feel like I think they have a strong chance at also competing for the SEC championship. And you win the SEC championship, right? You're automatically in the playoff deal no matter what. And so I would say South Carolina's in between the two, not just in one or the other. I would say in between.
It's a strange.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's a great year for them to be
for sure.
where they are. Ole Miss, they lost Jackson Dart. Moving on to Austin Simmons, a two-sport athlete. I think he's technically already graduated college, which is freaking amazing. He's a lefty.
Okay.
And I know Ole Miss lost a lot of production at receiver this year. They had a couple guys go.
Yeah.
I know they had tight end Caden Priestcorn graduate.
Well, and I remember last year when they played Georgia. I think it was the drive that I think he got dinged up on the first drive, and then the quarterback came in,
Austin Simmons,
Simmons, and he led Ole Miss to a touchdown drive against Georgia. Now he had a limited amount of time because last year was mainly darts year for Ole Miss, but from that drive I saw, he had a lot of confidence in himself, and I really like it. Yeah. But I would say for Ole Miss, I mean, you can never go wrong with Lane Kiffin, Mr. Twitter tweets. But I would say I would put them at probably where I just is
put them in conference contention. I don't know too much about this team either. If I'm having to be completely, I almost want to put them in mid tier just because I feel like there has to be some type of drop off after Jackson Dart.
Yeah, but I think,
they can be. I believe they can be a conference contender. But first year starting quarterback. All these new weapons, all these new running backs. Maybe they underachieve this year. Maybe they only win like 8 games.
Yeah. I'm still gonna. I just because they've been pretty consistent.
I'm willing to put them in top 5 finish just because you said their consistency in years past.
Yeah, I would say I would put them in a top 5 finish for sure. Yeah,
I think that is a perfect way to put them.
Yeah, I agree.
Now we got Oklahoma. They landed the number 1 transfer quarterback in the portal, John Mateer. So expectations are very high for the Sooners this year.
For sure.
Now, they're obviously losing a few people on the defensive side of the ball. They sent, what's his face to the draft? Danny Stutzman. There we go.
Danny Stutzman. Yep.
Danny Stutzman. But they did get Jaden Ott, one of the best running backs on the West Coast for a while. He was really good. I just think this offense is going to be exciting to watch, and it wasn't really exciting to watch last year. Jackson Arnold was not really the answer for them at quarterback. And I think they found their guy at quarterback, if I'm being completely honest, with John Mateer. Dude was a baller at Washington State.
Yeah, I think I'm not trying to compare, two quarterbacks, but I think this is kind of like a similar situation to when Oklahoma got Dylan Gabriel, kind of. He took Oklahoma almost to a Big 12 championship. I think John Mateer, I think he could do some really good things at Oklahoma. I definitely think they're going to do better than they did last year because last year, I mean, they were just inconsistent across the board, whether it was quarterback play or don't forget they have Hawkins as well at the backup position. So, but no, I think Oklahoma has a good chance. There's some games that I think are a little bit dicey for them. They have to go on the road to South Carolina. They got to go on the road to Tennessee. Let's see. They have to go on the road to Alabama. They beat Alabama last year, so Bama's going to be looking to get them for payback.
But I think, I see a lot of returning talent at wide receiver.
Yeah.
So, and they got best transfer running back in the portal as well. Yeah, this offense is going to be pretty exciting to watch, I'd say. And I
Yeah.
would not be surprised if John Mateer was a Heisman finalist.
And then, I mean, they have their rivalry game with Texas in Red River. And, last year was a blowout, but, I mean,
I don't think it'll be this year.
I think it's going to be extremely close.
I think it will be too.
So, yeah, but I like Oklahoma. I would put them.
Probably put them top 5. Well, we can only put like so many schools in top 5 finish. I almost want to put them in the mid tier.
I would say mid tier just because they were, iffy last year. The last year, I mean, it matters, but that's in the past now. So, new year, I think Oklahoma is around the mid range for right now.
Now Missouri, they had all that talent last year, struggled.
Yeah,
Now
I'm not extremely high on Missouri this year. That's just my opinion.
I don't know the darndest thing about them, to be honest.
I don't know. I felt like they were disappointing last year.
They were very disappointing last year, in my opinion. I think they should
Yeah.
have, honestly, they should have been a team that could have been contending for an SEC championship, if I'm being completely honest, with that talent at quarterback and with that talent at receiver that they had last year. And they underachieved. Now, will they be good this year? Probably not, in my opinion. They got a new quarterback, complete revamp everywhere. So, if I'm to be completely honest, I'm putting them in the dumpster fire, too.
Okay.
Because
Dumpster fire.
just a lot of bad things that can go wrong with a new quarterback, a new receiving group,
Yeah.
running back.
Yeah.
So I just don't see a lot happening for them.
Yeah, and again, I have questions about the quarterback position. I mean, last year was supposed to, I feel like, be Missouri's year,
Mm-hmm.
and they just didn't. They just underperformed.
So
I
yeah,
mean, they got blasted against Texas A&M. I mean, it was 41-10, and they just didn't have an answer.
and I think this defense will still be solid. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they make a bowl game this year.
You don't think? Wow.
Well, maybe. Well, dumpster fire is implying that they are not going to be good at all this year. And
Okay.
with the added talent around them, I just don't see them keeping up.
You don't see them keeping up. I got you.
Just don't see them keeping up. They
Yeah.
could make a bowl game. I think 6-6 is their 6 or 6, 7-5 is their ceiling this year.
Do they have a freshman who's going to be a starter this year at quarterback?
Let me see. I thought Horn was the guy that I heard was starting.
Horn. Yeah, that's
Redshirt junior.
Yeah.
So he's been with the program a while, but I haven't seen him play too much. So
yeah.
a complete wild card.
Yeah. And let me just read you their schedule that they have to make Missouri fans feel a little bit better about themselves.
I don't think we have any Missouri fans watching.
So you get a fluff game in Central Arkansas, and then you play Kansas, both at home. You have Louisiana Raging Cajuns at home, so that should be 3-0. You have South Carolina, which that'll be interesting. Massachusetts, then you have Alabama, then you have Auburn, Vanderbilt. So Auburn's at Auburn, Vanderbilt's at Vanderbilt, Texas A&M's at home, Mississippi State's at home. They have a lot of home games. Oklahoma's in Norman, and then they go to Arkansas. They have let me see this. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight games at home. 7.
That should be favorable for them.
8. They have 8 games at home. Okay, so that might be their saving grace. I mean, they have 6 games at home.
And there's no guarantees they win all those 6 games at home, though.
No, there's no.
Playing in the SEC, no bueno. It's just no chance. But I still think it's not going to be a very good season for them. So I'm going to honestly move on to Mississippi State. And, this is a team that had a phenomenal transfer portal class. I think the number one transfer portal class in the country.
I don't think you're mistaken on that. Yeah.
I believe so. Which begs the question, can Jeff Lebby? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Jeff Lebby.
Well, I've said that.
Jeff Lebby sort of capitalize on this, once in a lifetime opportunity out of the portal. I don't think you're going to get a number one recruiting class out of the portal too.
Well, and I've said this before too, but coming into the year, I'm optimistic about Mississippi State. And it's because Jeff Lebby is an offensive guy, and we all know, I mean, Mississippi State, they've always been, in the past when they've been good, they've always been an offensive school. And they've always thrown the ball really well. I mean, Mike Leach, even when Dan Mullen was there with Dak Prescott. And now I think Jeff Lebby, he's a young coach, second year in this system. He got that amazing transfer portal class. I think Mississippi State has a chance to win around 8 games this year.
Maybe a top 5 finish for them, I think.
Yeah, I would put them around the top 5 finish list.
Oh, for sure. But they have a Baylor quarterback starting at quarterback, so I always want to give them a hard time. They obviously lost their freshman Martin Van Buren to the portal to LSU.
Yeah.
But they got a Baylor quarterback starting at quarterback. We'll see how that goes. But even then, even with a Baylor quarterback and all that transfer talent, I just think top 5 finishes, in their DNA this year.
Now, the question is, for me especially, we say, oh, well, they have all this, we have all these great transfer players coming in. Sure, they they're good players, but are they going to play well together? That's the question.
It's more of a chemistry thing. And I can see this blowing up in their face completely. Completely. I can see this blowing up. Because when you recruit guys out of high school, and they come in the same class, they kind of grow up together. They become adults together. They have a certain chemistry.
Yeah.
If you will. Because they're growing up together. They're becoming grown men together. They're going to essentially,
they're going to bond.
They're going to bond. The chemistry is going to be there.
Yeah.
Which
so now
this is why the transfer portal class. That's what sort of the transfer portal is ruined, is the camaraderie of college football.
Yeah, but like I said, it can either pan out really well for Mississippi State, or it can just completely blow up in their face, and they just have a dumpster fire of a year, like maybe they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly don't think that's going to happen. I think Jeff Lebby I think he's a really good coach. And I like the fact that he's also a young guy too, because he can, I feel like, better relate to, college athletes. And I don't know, I like Mississippi State.
Yep. I could not agree more. And then there's LSU, who also had a top transfer portal class, returning a really good quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier, with I think Nick Anderson or Nick Williams. I can't remember his name.
Nick Anderson.
It's Nick Anderson that they got in the portal. Really good receiver.
Yeah.
There's so much production there. I can see them winning. I can see them winning the conference, if I'm being completely honest. If everything goes right.
Yeah, and also too, their defense. They have Harold Perkins. I think he's going to be playing off the edge more this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll have Whit Weeks, who was a very productive linebacker last year for them.
And they got Barry and Brown too, who's really good.
Yeah.
Transfer out of Kentucky. Harold Perkins, he's going to be really good.
They have Durham, I believe, at running back still.
Mm-hmm. Caden Durham. I think he broke some freshman records last year. So this LSU team is really solid this year. The only issue I really have is the coach. Brian Kelly has not proven himself as an SEC coach yet. He went 9-3 with a Heisman quarter.
I mean, he won 10 games.
8-4. He went 8-4 during Jaden Daniels' Heisman season. Will he ruin another great quarterback season? I just don't know, because Brian Kelly has stumbled into a lot of great talent, and he's not really maximized it. He's not really maximized the players around him.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I would put them. I think I would put them where A&M is right now at conference contender because I think that they're definitely above Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Mississippi State right now. I don't think they're quite. Uh, I don't think they're quite where Texas is right now. And I think they're a little bit. I think they're a little higher than South Carolina. I think they're a little bit lower than South Carolina, in my opinion. I mean,
I want to put them in playoff contender pretty bad.
you want to put LSU at playoff contender?
Or maybe we bump South Carolina down to conference contender, but I believe in this South Carolina team a little too much.
Yeah.
So if I'm being honest,
Here's what I would do. I would leave South Carolina at playoff contender because I'm high on them too. I'm really high on them. And then I would just place LSU at conference contender. Yeah,
I think so too. They didn't have the best of years last year.
and I think that's pretty reasonable. I mean,
yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable, and they can overachieve and make us, and just and we'll be right. So
yeah.
And then there's
Exactly.
Kentucky.
Oh boy.
Zach Calzada, like a sixth year starting quarterback, former A&M quarterback.
He's the only other A&M quarterback to beat Alabama in the SEC.
They got a transfer. They got a couple transfers from smaller schools. I saw Kendrick Law from Alabama.
Kendrick Law. Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I see a lot of talent from smaller schools that they have. I really don't see Kentucky being amazing this year.
I mean, I can read you their schedule and give you a.
Yeah, give us a little breakdown.
Actually, I didn't go over Mississippi State. I'll go over Mississippi State's schedule real fast. They have Southern Miss, Arizona State. They have Akron State, Northern Illinois. Both those games are in Starkville. Tennessee and in Starkville. At home, Florida and Gainesville, Texas and Starkville, Arkansas, Fayetteville, Georgia, Starkville, Missouri, Columbia, Ole Miss, and Starkville. That's Mississippi State. For Kentucky, they open up with Toledo.
Toledo.
But you know what's funny? In past years, what's funny is that Mississippi State, or not Mississippi, Kentucky, they kind of struggled against maybe lower teams, which is, kind of like a little laughter shot there. But then they go.
You know what's kind of funny?
What?
Toledo smoked Mississippi State last year.
Oh, yeah.
They smoked them.
Yeah. But yeah, they play Toledo. It's in Kentucky. Then they play Ole Miss at home. Then they play Eastern Michigan. And then listen to this stretch. Oh my gosh. Are you ready for this? They play South Carolina and Columbia, Georgia, in Athens. Then they play Kentucky at home. And then they play Tennessee at home. They go to Auburn. They play Florida and Lexington. They have Tennessee Tech at Kentucky, so you get a little bit of, breathing room. And then they play Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt, and then they play Louisville in Kentucky at Louisville.
Sounds like a gauntlet.
Dude, they play South Carolina, Georgia, and Texas back to back weeks, and all of them, two of the three of them are away games.
I just don't see them doing well with that stretch.
Dude, that's man.
I think it's safe to. I think we'll both agree on this. Dumpster fire.
Yeah. Sorry, Kentucky.
I just don't, because the SEC has improved so much this past season.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more young talent flowing through it this year. So, dumpster fire, I'm okay with putting them there.
Yeah.
Now, Georgia.
Playoff contender.
I don't think there's any doubt, right?
Maybe a little bit. No, I'm joking. No, they're playoff.
What doubt do we have in Georgia? Their defense will always be good, no matter who they have over there. I'm being completely... it's a no-brainer to put them in playoff contender.
Hey, you know who they have at quarterback? You know who they have? They have Gunnar Stockton.
who played in some playoff games last year. He got a lot of good experience when Carson Beck went down.
I don't know if we can show the clip, but should we show the clip of him getting rocked by Texas in the
Oh,
great heavens!
I'll edit it in the video. I'll edit in the video.
Dude, Whipple.
Oh. But yeah, this team's a playoff contender.
Yeah, for sure.
Is Trevor Etienne got drafted this year, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Or I thought he was back. Okay. But, I mean, honestly, that's Georgia's rinse and recycle at running back, you know? So,
yeah.
I mean, the offensive line's going to be good. I don't see why they're contender.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't see why they're not a playoff contender.
They returned Nate Frazier.
Okay, he was pretty solid.
Yeah, he was really solid last year. They have Roderick Robinson. He's I believe a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, there's just too much talent on this roster.
They're loaded.
They're loaded. Yeah. Year in and year out.
Yeah.
They retain their talent really well. I don't think they had an insane transfer portal class, but they retain their talent really well.
Well, and here's what their schedule looks like. So let's see. So they have Marshall at home, Austin Peay at home. They go to Tennessee. They play Alabama at home, Kentucky at home, Auburn at Auburn. That's always a tough game. Ole Miss in Athens, Florida, Jacksonville, that rivalry. Mississippi State in Starkville. Then they have Texas at home, Charlotte.
Let's go.
At home, and then they finish up with Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Georgia, in which that game went 8 overtimes last year. But I think Georgia's definitely they're definitely an SEC championship contender for sure. They'll probably make it, in my opinion, maybe, probably, and then they'll get into the playoff, be a playoff contender.
Okay, then we got Florida.
I think this is similar to like the Mississippi State situation or even LSU situation.
Maybe, I don't know. I just sort of feel like people are like DJ Lagway really only played like half a season.
Yeah, and I just last year they started off horrible and then they ended the season on a really high note. I just think for them they have some game one of the key games that they have is playing Texas at home. And I think for them, I'll pull up their schedule, but it's either break or bust for them. So many people are giving Florida the heads up because of DJ Lagway, obviously, why not? But they play LAU at home, South Florida. South Florida, remember, they've given Alabama, kind of a run for their money the last 2 times they've played them.
Their quarterback, Byron Brown, is really good.
Yeah, he's really good. So they have South Florida. Both those games at Florida. Then they go to LSU. That'll be a huge game to see where Florida is kind of in the, start of the year. And they go to Miami. They play Texas at home, and then they play at Texas A&M. So that 4-game stretch, and we've kind of gone over this, but they play at LSU, at Miami, they play Texas, and then they go to Texas A&M. That's 4 straight games.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Now, I don't know how. I'm still trying to figure out how Miami is going to be this year with Carson Beck. But, I mean, it's still at Miami. At Miami is a tough place to play. And then they play Mississippi State at home. Then they play their rivalry game with Georgia. And then they go to Kentucky. Then they go to Ole Miss. Then they play Tennessee at home. And then they play Florida State at home. So it's not like they have an easy walkthrough schedule whatsoever.
I don't know if they're going to finish in the top 5, though.
The thing for me is I don't know how they're going to do in that 4-game stretch we talked about. I don't know. And then, I mean, they play, and you never know with that Kentucky-Florida rivalry kind of. It's turned into more of a rivalry now. But that game could go either way, in my opinion. That Ole Miss game is going to be a tough game for them. And then, Tennessee. Tennessee's had their. I mean, Florida's only won what 3 games out of the last 16, 17 matchups against the Volunteers, and then Florida State. You never know on that one.
And honestly, I think they're going to finish about where they finished last year.
Yeah, I would put them. Top 5 finish.
Yeah, I think that's safe.
Yeah.
That's a safe pick for now. If we wanted to be more ambitious, we can put them in mid, but
Make some people mad.
now Auburn.
Yeah.
They have Jackson Arnold.
Okay, I just want to say something. I love how, when a quarterback doesn't have a good year, the previous year, but then we come into the offseason and we're like, oh my gosh, what if he improves? Like, what if he does do this? What if he does that? But we said that the last year and we saw what happened, right? So it's like, I don't know to be optimistic about Jackson Arnold and Auburn or not. I would put them in the top 5 finish.
Really?
Well, actually, no, I would go lower. I would put them in the mid.
Really? I was fixing to say, they do have some good, they still got some pieces returning. Cam Coleman is coming back. He was really good last year.
Yeah.
And Jackson Arnold he's not a scrub by any means.
No.
I don't know. It honestly depends on their schedule. If we're being completely honest.
Well, and here's a look at their schedule. They play your Baylor Bears in Waco.
Oh, they're not winning.
Huh?
They're not winning.
That'll be an interesting game. Go Tigers. No, I'm joking. They play Baylor in Waco. They play Ball State. The Cardinal might pull up something up their ass and pull up a win there, but we'll see. But, yeah. Both games at home. Baylor at home, Baylor. Sorry, Baylor on the road. You got me distracted. Ball State at home. South Alabama, at home. Oklahoma at Oklahoma. You got Auburn. So you got Auburn going to College Station. Then you have Georgia at Auburn. Missouri at Auburn. And then they have Arkansas at Arkansas. Kentucky at Auburn. Auburn at Vanderbilt. And then they finish off with Mercer at home. And then they finish with Alabama at home. Sorry that took a little bit longer, but I just had to make that joke.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I just don't see them being something serious in the SEC this year. I think they'll finish on the table. I think they'll make a bowl game this year.
I think that Georgia game is always so interesting because it's always like it's either a blowout or it's either Auburn is like a nail biter away from pulling off the upset. It's either a blowout or it's either Auburn is like they do it or they're like a field goal away from beating Georgia.
It might not be that way, we don't know how Auburn's going to start off the season. They might have blow expectations out the water, They might blow out the water, but I just don't see them being any better than 7-5, 8-5.
Well, and something referring to what Nick Saban said, this was last year when A&M was going to play Auburn. I remember he said on game day, because Alabama, when Nick Saban was at Alabama and he played on the road at Auburn, something he said that was hilarious is he was like, "I'm warning you, A&M, Jordan Hare is cursed," and so. In Alabama, they've had rough patches going on the road and playing Auburn. Now, the past couple of years...
That's where things happened,
Yeah.
There's strange stuff that happens there in Jordan Hare.
Jalen Milroe threw a game-winning touchdown to Isaiah Bond on 4th and goal from his own 30,
That field has some, dark magic or something. Cause
it's got some witchcraft.
It's got some witchcraft for sure.
But, no, I think...
Baylor's not playing them there. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I was about to say, if they were playing at Auburn, R.I.P.
I don't know how we got the game scheduled at home. I don't know how.
Good luck, because if y'all play them next year, you'll know where it's going to be. Since Oklahoma went in there and beat them, I wouldn't be worried.
No, I wouldn't be worried. But then... Yeah.
But yeah, Auburn, I think, is in the mid. Like I said, maybe Ball State pulls something out of their ass, and pulls a win there, but we'll see. But let's go to Arkansas.
I don't think they're going to have a very good season.
I don't think they're going to have a very good year either. I mean, they have Taylor Green.
I don't know. Taylor Green, I mean, maybe there's something there, but he's a very intriguing draft. He's more of an intriguing prospect, like a project quarterback in the NFL, just because of his size and athleticism.
Yeah.
I just don't see them as really any type of contenders in the SEC this year.
Well, and the thing that I'm more concerned about Arkansas is the receiver position, because they lost Andrew Armstrong last year. I believe didn't they lose Luke Haas?
Isaac Tesla.
There's some, I'm not very confident in their receiver room. Not that they can't prove me wrong, but I'm a little iffy on that. And then the defense, they lost
Landon Jackson.
And then, I mean, I don't know. Secondary wise, Arkansas has never really been good in the secondary. That's just my personal opinion.
They're just not going to be very good this year.
I think the offensive line is going to be solid, but I think that's
their offensive line is always good. Game offensive line has always been a big part of their identity.
Let me pull up the schedule just to give you a glimpse into the future of what Arkansas could potentially accomplish.
I mean, they play the Arkansas schedule the first 2 weeks. Well, Alabama. Excuse me. I thought I saw Arkansas A&M. I'm seeing things this morning.
Let's see. They play Alabama A&M at Arkansas. That's going to be their only win against an A&M team this year. Arkansas State, Little Rock. They'll be playing at their other stadium. And then they have Ole Miss at home, or not at home, at Ole Miss. They play at Memphis. They play Notre Dame at. They play Notre Dame.
No.
I'm just going to say this right now. If Arkansas takes down Notre Dame, I'm just going to be like, what is Arkansas smoking, or what are they on?
Dude, Notre Dame has, again, they have a All-American receiver returning in Greater House. They have some great pieces returning. I'd be shocked. I would be shocked if Arkansas beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, I mean, and they're returning Jeremiah Love.
They're returning so much talent. It would be
except their quarterback.
Except their quarterback, but I don't think they ever have an issue at the quarterback position.
No. And then
they'll always be solid at quarterback.
Yeah. And then they go on the road to Tennessee. Then they play at A&M. Not at A&M. Game's actually not at AT&T. They play at Arkansas, which gives them a little bit of an advantage. Nah. And then
it shouldn't be a disaster.
And then Auburn and Arkansas, Mississippi State and Arkansas, at LSU, at Texas, Missouri, at Arkansas. So, yeah, I think they're
in my opinion. It's a hard schedule.
Yeah, I'd say
3-9.
3-9
is probably the worst. Is probably what the worst they're going to finish at. I see their ceiling maybe being 6-6, but I don't see them doing too much this year in the SEC conference. Dumpster fire.
Okay.
Now Alabama.
Playoff
contender.
Every year. For sure.
Every year. There's no doubt. Ryan Williams. You got a quarterback who has shown a lot of loyalty. Ty Simpson, I think, is going to be their starter.
Yeah.
We'll see what he has. That's really the only question I have for this Alabama team. Alabama does Alabama things, and I'm going to trust Alabama to roll Tide roll through their schedule.
And don't forget on defense, they're returning Deontay Lawson. And then, let's see, they are Jam Miller, I believe. I don't think he entered the draft last year. I don't believe he did. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, I'll do the schedule here this time. Florida State, week 1.
I think Alabama gets it.
ULM, not very good. Wisconsin, I think they take. Now, it doesn't get interesting till September 27th when they play Georgia.
I would say in that game, I'd say Georgia has the upper hand on that one.
And then there's Vandy. That game could be wacky. Missouri game, they'll win. Tennessee, they're playing at home. That game will be interesting. They're playing South Carolina in Columbus. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
They play LSU in Tuscaloosa. That'll be fun. Oklahoma in Alabama at Alabama, so that'll be interesting. And then Eastern Illinois in Tuscaloosa. That'll be a blowout.
Hey, that's our guest appearance.
Yeah, that's our guest appearance for the day.
Anywho.
And then they got Auburn and Auburn, so I see 10-2. I see 10-2 for them. I see double-digit win season for them, which would lead to a playoff. Sure. Would lead to a
and even
for sure
if it's not Texas or A&M or LSU or South Carolina, it could easily be Georgia or Alabama in the SEC championship.
Oh, for sure. Would there be? Obviously, is this something y'all want to see more of with the tier list? I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah.
We need to know what conference to do next, so I might put a poll out to see what y'all want to do, what conference y'all want to see next. But, I'll get this video up, and hopefully it'll all be good.
And this
is Ethan Mailer for the Holy Huddle, signing off.
And guys, make sure, one quick real announcement, make sure to follow us if you want to on our Instagram page at The Holy Huddle and on our YouTube channel, The Holy Huddle, and make sure to like, subscribe, comment, whatever you want. We'll see y'all later. Just a Drew signing off. See y'all later.
Hey, I didn't think you'd be the one doing the advertising.
Hey, that was pretty good, though.